Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Ledwell and this is the Inspiration Show. Today on the show we're going to be talking with my special guest who's working with younger girls to teach them all about the law of attraction and all the success principles that us older girls have been into for quite some time. And she has an amazing campaign called the Dream Girl Campaign. So can you please help me in welcoming my guest, Patricia Petersen. How are you, Patricia?
I'm great. How are you, Natalie?
I am fantastic. And I'm also very happy to be talking to you because, as you know, my audience or the people in our community are sort of like a little bit older. We're sort of in our 40s and 50s. But what you're doing is reaching a younger generation with this amazing information about success principles and law of attraction, which I think is really important. And I think a lot of us think, God, if only I knew back then what I knew now, life would be in a different place. But before we get into all the amazing juiciness of the interview today, why don't we start with your story and your background and how you got into doing what you do?
Sure. So I've always been into spirituality and asking those kind of bigger, deeper questions about life and everything, and always feeling like what we see here on the surface is just that, the surface. And I've always been interested in digging a bit deeper. I was very into spirituality books when I was younger, and I kind of left it all behind in high school, not for any particular reason. It's just life happens, you get new interests in high school and college and everything. So I went to high school and kind of left all of that behind. I really thought that being from a small town, I just assumed I would either not go to college because I didn't have good grades at all, or I would go to the local junior college, and then honestly, I figured I probably would drop out or something. I didn't know there was much that I could do. And I discovered that you could go to community colleges outside of your hometown. And so I really pressed to do that. And I went to Santa Barbara City College, and I moved on to go to UCSB. University of California at Santa Barbara. And then I graduated from there, and I went into what I assumed you had to do, was go get a real 9-to-5 kind of job. And I did, and I hated it. And it's a story that a lot of people had. It was a really just soul-sucking job. Even though the company was cool, my coworkers were cool, the work itself that we did was very cool, but I knew there had to be more. And so I wasn't really aware of any of this stuff, though. The law of attraction, the fact that your thoughts become things, the fact that what you put out there comes back. And so I was really stuck for quite a few years, and it wasn't until about 4 years ago that I moved back to the San Francisco Bay Area, where I'm from. And I actually really discovered this whole world. And I discovered that what I put out there comes back in terms of thoughts, energy, dreams, everything comes back to me. And so I really started playing around with it. And after that, I mean, almost immediately, I'd say within 6 months, my whole life changed, and things that I didn't think would ever be possible for me started happening. World travel, amazing jobs, amazing friends, just an awesome life. And I really realized that you can have whatever you want, and it's not just it's not a matter of working super, super, super hard for 30 or 40 years and then getting it, or anything like that. You can actually deliberately create your life. And so from that, in the last year or two, I really decided that I want to bring this to the younger generation who intuitively know this in a way, but it's so easy to forget it, and it's so easy to forget your power. And so that's kind of my story of how I started out and how I got to where I am today.
So how long has the Dream Girl campaign been going?
So the Dream Girl campaign is just now launching. It's brand new. We've been doing it informally with other organizations around the Bay Area, going into organizations and helping them with things like this. But Dream Girl campaign is the new face for it, where we're really focusing on young women and girls and showing them a fun way to deliberately create their life and to choose the better feeling thoughts, and that it doesn't have to be something. My mom is the one who introduced this stuff to me, which I entirely grateful to her for, but she's always been showing me this kind of stuff, and it was never really spoken to me in a language that really, really resonated with me until I got older, until I became the demographic that a lot of these amazing amazing masters are teaching. And so my just natural style it speaks in a way that is a bit younger and goes towards those kind of girls that are turning into young women. And so I decided that I wanted to walk the talk and go after what I really wanted to do, which is this. So I'm excited.
Awesome. So what's your vision for the Dream Girl campaign?
My vision is for young girls and young women and anybody attracted to my message is to be able to find a space and a place where they are able to really understand and digest this information that I teach, that you teach, that everybody I love teaches, and give them a place where they really feel at home and comfortable with this, and where they feel confident to even share this kind of information. I know a lot of people who are in this industry or in this world, they kind of are in a bit of a closet, if you will, for a while, or at least I know I was for a few years, and don't necessarily want to admit that I've got my vision board and I've got my affirmation quotes around the walls of my house and everything. And so I want it to be, I want it to be a bit more mainstream, to be perfectly honest. I want it to be something that people are stoked about sharing with everybody. And I feel like Instagram is kind of doing that too. Like everybody I follow on Instagram, it's just quote after quote after quote. So people are doing this already. I just want to make it more consumable for the new generation that's coming in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know that you have been working with some girls already. So what do you find are the biggest challenges that girls and guys, I suppose, of that age group are really facing, and how can this information help them?
I think the biggest thing that they're facing is society as a whole. And I never like to play the blame game or blame something as big as society, but I think it's something where you get into a place, like you come into a workshop or something, or a conference. For those of us who are a bit older, we go to conferences and things like that. That's what I just did last week, and you get in the bubble of awesomeness and amazingness, and you really feel it. And that's why I notice it with the girls that I work with. They get into a workshop and they get it, they feel great, they feel like they can take on the world, and then you leave and it's over, and they go back in to their real world, and you're beat down a little bit each day. I know I am too. You get back in there, you start you start thinking like, oh God, that was great for that weekend, or that was great for that workshop, but now I'm back here and I have to make money for my car insurance or whatever it is. And you get back into the rut of things, and it's a constant, like exercising, like showering, it's a constant practice that you have to keep doing. So that's something too that I've noticed is the biggest challenge with them, is keeping those spirits high and having them really implement it as a daily practice, like they would brushing their teeth or anything like that.
Absolutely, because that's the thing. I mean, we all face that too. But I suppose as a lot of us, we when we realize that we can actually create this environment around us, we seek that out. And the fact that you're actually creating a community for young women to get together and share their perspective, and to be able to get together and even have an environment where they can converse with other girls that are going through very similar things to them is just such an amazing thing. And I think the more people we can get across to the light side, as I call it.
Yes.
It's going to obviously help everyone, but I think too, we have every generation has different challenges. And I know for a lot of young people coming out of college right now, it's like, the job market, there doesn't seem to be a lot of jobs around, and there are so many different choices, or it doesn't seem like there are any choices. So it's really can be very disheartening when you're sort of faced with that. But then learning these kind of principles that you're teaching could really help them to try and figure out. So how do you help young girls that are sort of like, well, I have no idea what I'm going to do? How do you help them apply this information to help them figure out what that is?
Well, I always like to tell them that I have a feeling that you already know what you want to do. And if I'm just using myself as the example, the one example that I could have to share with them, I feel like I always knew I wanted to do this. Somewhere deep inside, I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I'll tell you that much. But going to college, they don't really ever, unless you go into business classes or go, major in business, they don't really tell you that that's an option necessarily. It's really grooming you to make a great resume to give to somebody else to prove that you're worthy of working for them. And that's the way I always felt. I always felt like I was being groomed to prove myself to somebody up in a tall building that I'm worthy of giving them a third of my working week hours. And so the first and foremost thing that I do, and I do want to say a lot of people are into that. That's their dream, and that's what they want to do. And I'm just so far on the opposite. I've always wanted to work for myself. And so what I tell them is that you probably already know what you want to do on some level, or at least in some broad perspective, like maybe you want to perform. And so I start out with them being like, if you could be brutally honest with yourself, what do you want to do? Because so many people do say that. And I spent a couple years saying that to myself after college and after having some work experience, just like practically crying and being like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, or I don't know what I want to do. And it wasn't that I didn't know, it was that what I wanted to do, but I didn't even want to admit it, what I wanted to do, didn't fit into the mold of what I thought I should do, or thought what I had to do as a girl, college graduate who was trying to, make a living and support myself and have fun doing it and enjoy myself and really, live in my passion, as they say. So that's what I do with them, really. And, most of the time they already do know. They just haven't been given permission to acknowledge it and to really like say it out loud and declare that that's what they want to do.
Yeah, no, you've hit the nail on the head. I mean, giving them the encouragement and holding the space for them to do what they want to do, not what they should do, is such a powerful thing. So I know that you're actually starting off the Dream Girl campaign with an amazing summit, which I have the honor of being a part of. So tell us about the summit, some of the guests, and the information that people can find on that.
Sure. So the summit I'm really, really excited about. I've found 12 women who most of which I've admired for quite some time now, yourself included, Natalie. I really started admitting out loud what I wanted to do after getting my own mind movies going, and that just changed my life. But I found 12 women that I have looked up to, or who I feel like are doing big things in this world, or who are living out loud, as they say, and I got them all to be a part of this summit. And so I've got women who are all of which I would say are living their dream, or going after their dream and getting there, and they're just really sharing with us different ways to go after it, different ways to go get it. They all are under the same umbrella of, hey, you're accountable for your life, and you've got to work at it every day, and you've got to visualize it, and you've got to understand that what you put out you get back. So it's all the same general philosophy. But I've got women who are talking about the importance of showing up every day and not in sweats, which I'm guilty for a lot. But really, if you want to presenting yourself to the world, for example, that's kind of the more real world kind of side of the summit. But then I have women who sold everything that they have and moved over to Hawaii and are now being paid more than they ever thought they would, doing their dream job. And so I've got all these amazing women who are sharing with us how to go after what you want. And my intention really is to inspire other women to go after whatever it is that they want, no matter what it is.
Absolutely. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So guys, if you want to register for the summit, you can do that by clicking on the banner to the side there. We'll take you through to Patricia's website, and we can, make sure that you get registered there and get some of that amazing information. I think the more of us that step up and can inspire, not just our generation, but other generations as well. We're just doing the world a massive service, and I really appreciate all the work that you're doing, Patricia. I think that I love the fact that you're doing what you love, what you feel passionate about, but that you're actually changing lives at the same time. So thank you for joining me today, and thank you for everything that you do.
Right back at you. Thank you.
Awesome. So guys, I encourage you to share this video. You can do that by clicking the Facebook and the Twitter share buttons on this page. Also make sure that you leave your email on the box of this page as well, so that I can send you the Manifesting with the Masters video e-course. It's actually valued at $87, and I'd love to send it to you for free. And also make sure that you click on the banner to the side to go through to Patricia's amazing Dream Girl Summit from there as well. So until next time, remember to live large, choose courageously, and love without limits. We'll see you soon.
Bye.